I want you to tell a young Dr. Hill out there might be watching, who's looking at life, looking at our future, looking at a lot of potential adversity. What would you tell young Dr. Hill 2.0?
I would tell young Dr. Hill that everything that you believe is possible, whether it's negative or positive. So focus on the positive. Okay, so whatever you tell yourself daily, whatever you look in the mirror and see, that's what will be. So make sure it's positive.
Gratitude is latitude.
It is.
Welcome to Texas Tea with Eastwood Energy Group. I am Roger Dupre, your brave host, and I am here with Dr. Brittany Hill of Hill Heals Chiropractic and Rehabilitation. We will be talking about her journey, what has made her successful, of course, a little bit about what you guys at home can do in terms of spinal health, muscle, bone, everything health, right?
Sure.
Real quick backstory for her, but I don't want to hog the spotlight too much. She's had about a decade-long journey, was dead set. 10 years.
Yeah.
Dead set on dentistry at one point, met a chiropractor, changed her life. Parents didn't approve. However, after making a deal with them to go to the best possible university for chiropractic work, Life University, and realizing this was her true passion, she is now 2 offices strong and continuing to grow.
God is good, y'all. He really is.
The universe definitely provides.
It does.
So with that said, Dr. Hill, that was a long journey. Tell the audience, what were, during that time when you were transitioning and people, I think this is a big thing for entrepreneurs and business owners. A lot of people, even friends and family, are not going to really believe in them. So when you had a lot of doubters, a lot of haters, a lot of naysayers,
yeah,
what kept it together to keep you going?
I think it was more of my childhood. I was raised in the church, so I really had a big faith in things unseen. Just going back, I was raised in Montgomery, Alabama. It's the capital city of Alabama, and it has a lot of history there, I would say, for people that look like me. So my family was really diligent in building up my self-confidence through faith. And I was always taught if I could see it, I could do it. So at times of adversity, that's kind of what I go back to. Just really looking within myself, not outwardly, but inwardly, as to what is motivating me, why I started it, that God wants me at the head and not the tail. So I always look at that at times of adversity. And that would be my biggest tip for people out there trying to do something that people around them are saying is impossible or they shouldn't do.
So basically, believe that things are going to unfold as long as you do the work and keep the faith.
I would say, like, when I first came to my family about chiropractic, they could not even pronounce the word. It was chiropractic. Chiropractic. So they didn't know a lot about the profession. They didn't understand, how prosperous I could be in it if I could take care of myself. So yeah, it was a big thing. But my mom looked at me when we went to the orientation process for the school after I got accepted, and looked at me with tears in my eyes and her eyes and just said, if you're gonna do this, you have to be all in. And that's pretty much the motto I adopted in 2012 when I started my chiropractic journey. So all in for me meant no partying, studying on Saturdays and Sundays when everybody else was at church or family gatherings, being away from my family. My school was in Georgia and my family was in Alabama. So missing things like that. My 30th birthday, I was studying for boards. So I was not able to, that's one of the monumental birthdays.
Yeah,
right?
dirty 30.
That's when you're really supposed to turn up. I wasn't able to do that. I had to study for boards.
You turned up in those books.
I had to turn up in the books, turn those pages and absorb the information. So Yeah, it was a lot of sacrifice, but that all in motto that my mom looked at me that day and gave me was something that I kind of leaned on when it got hard.
Right.
You know, you had certain classes that maybe you weren't as good at in, or you had to study harder for. Just having the confidence and seeing the vision and knowing that to get to where I wanted to be, I had to go through these processes.
Yeah.
Really held me and sustained me in those times.
Right.
Definitely.
So it's, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, and especially if there's people that aren't 100% there yet, the best cure, the best way to heal that problem,
Yes.
heals, is to put all your chips in the middle.
That's right. All in.
All in. That's what's up.
Yeah, mind, body, and soul. So yeah.
Mind, body, and soul. If you could pinpoint one time during that journey that was the absolute roughest, wanted to quit, or felt like this was a low point, what was it, and what did you do aside from keep your faith, of course, to get out of it?
I think my lowest point would either have to be initially when I went to my parents with the chiropractic dream.
Yeah.
And then my next lowest would probably be my final year of chiropractic school.
Okay.
So we talked a little bit about initially what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But my final year of school, my dad actually suffered a stroke.
Oh, wow.
So being a chiropractor, I don't know, it's like when you know, like I can break it down scientifically what happened inside my father.
Right.
It makes it, and it might just be me, but in my opinion, it made it harder for me to see him like that, because I knew what the road would be when my other family members who haven't studied the body didn't know what to expect. I knew what happened. So he had what you call a thrombotic stroke.
Okay.
Where actually you throw a clot.
Oh.
And the clot blocks the blood from flowing in the artery. So when he threw the clot in his brain, the blood stopped flowing there, and therefore he had dead tissue.
Oh, wow.
Blood is life. So that's why on whatever side they have that stroke on, the opposite side of the body is where it manifests. That's where they had a paralysis and things like that. So I was like, am I going to go through life like
seeing all the problems?
Yeah, like really seeing them.
Yeah.
Not just like a lay person, but really seeing them. Right. And that really motivated me, because me and my dad, after he had the stroke, luckily they got to him really fast, gave him the medication that kind of reversed some of the things. He was able to speak immediately after. He knew where he was, and that's not always the case with stroke victims.
Right.
He had limited mobility, but luckily, because I was put in a place in 2012 to study the body on this level, I was able to help him. If I had gone to dental school, my dental knowledge would not have been able to help him. Right. And today my dad rides horses. He's really active. He's retired now, enjoying life. So like I said, they questioned me in the beginning in 2012 and didn't know what was coming. And this came, and I'm just so thankful that I put all my chips in, and I was all in.
So what I hear then is you can help with people that have some significant problems or had some significant problems, and also maybe help them ride a horse.
Exactly. I mean, whatever your goals are, you need your body to accomplish the goal. Right. So as a chiropractor, what my main focus is using what's innately put inside you to help express what you want to express, whether it's riding a horse, running a marathon, kicking butt in MMA, throwing a fastball as a baseball pitcher, whatever your goals on an athletic level or a body performance level. As chiropractors, we're able to manipulate the body in a way where it's expressed.
So someone could come in, they can tell you, I want to be a defensive lineman at a collegiate level, and they can tell you what they're having problems with, and you could play it back in your head how it works in the body, and then localize what needs to be done. Correct?
Exactly. As a sports chiropractor, we are doctors. Like you mentioned, I studied over 10 years the body. I have a bachelor's, a master's, and a doctorate in chiropractic. But yeah, that's basically how it works, Roger. Somebody comes into our office, they're normally going to be in some type of pain. But my goal as the doctor is not just to make you pain free,
right,
but find out why you're in pain. So not just to treat your inflammation, not just to treat your pain, but find out what the primary cause is. And so you kind of just, as a detective, trying to figure out what that is.
Okay. I'm going to throw you a curveball here.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, I'm just going to make up a scenario for you. Let's say high school kid comes in.
Okay.
He's a wide receiver.
Okay.
He finds that he gets a lot of tightness in his legs. His speed has gone down, and he really can't jump as high. What would be the likely situation if you work it back? So can't jump as high, can't run as fast, really tight in the legs.
Okay, so that's what we've been trained as people, is to come in and just list what their symptoms are, and that's what I have to start with.
Right.
So looking at a wide receiver, they need speed, they need agility, they need hand and eye coordination.
Right.
Their response time has to be quick.
Right.
So as an athlete, what I'm looking at is how to enhance that, and the way to do that at a fundamental basis is, simply said, is just to make sure that the nervous system is able to communicate with whatever it's supposed to control.
Right.
And that the muscles are free and able to respond to whatever signal the nervous system has sent. So as chiropractors, we look at the nervous system as basically your computer.
Yeah.
It tells us when to breathe. It tells our muscles when to contract and relax. It tells our food how to digest. It decides what's waste and what's nutrients. It is the key to life, quality of life. So we go in as chiropractors and we find misalignments in your joints. Well, these nerves depicted here as the yellow part of the spine are impinged due to a mechanical misalignment. Right. We go back in and we fix that misalignment, therefore restoring the communication of the nerve with the end organ.
I got you.
What makes Heels unique is not only do we make sure you have the communication with the adjustment, but we also address your muscles. Right. If the muscles are encased in scar tissue, if it's prior injury to them that has not been addressed, then the nervous system will fire and send that signal to the muscle, but the muscle will not be able to respond. Right. So the muscle scraping that we do really enhances the communication between the computer or the nervous system of your body with whatever is controlling. Therefore decreasing the pain, the tightness, the miscommunication.
So in this case, wide receiver, trying to get to college, speed, agility, you said, as well as hand and eye coordination. Well, I know this is blanket questions, so you're trying to find exactly where the breakdown in body communication is. Where's the likely spots that you're fixing for that individual?
So if somebody comes in with a lower extremity problem, such as your example, where they're having pain in the lower leg, I'm definitely gonna look at the lower leg. That would be my first spot. Right, of course. Is it any type of fracture? Yeah. Did they do something traumatizing? Were they doing deadlifts with really heavy weight yesterday? Are they able to discern between muscle soreness and pain? Ask them what it feels like. Is it sharp? Is it stabbing? Is it burning? Those type of questions help me narrow down, is it more of a muscular issue or a joint issue? Okay. And that's my first step with every patient. Do I need to realign the joint, or is it more in their muscle? So, And now, obviously, you made it clear that these things happen because of traumatic events or things done completely wrong. Someone who isn't able to get in here quite yet, but they want to avoid massive damage. What are some of the biggest things you see in sports medicine that people are doing that you're like, oh, come on, you're going to really mess yourself up? Oh, man, I love that question, Raj. Oh, my goodness. So, number one, Heels is a 24-hour chiropractic clinic. So time is not an issue. If you want to get in, you can. Yeah. But if you're not financially able to, or you just have a lot going on right now, My number one thing is masking symptoms.
Okay.
So what I'm seeing a lot in my office is inflammation. That's going to be a really big topic. People are really against inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because we have medication that's called anti-inflammatories that people take, whether it's Aleve or ibuprofen, or they're taking something stronger that they were actually prescribed, not an over-the-counter medication. And the thing is that inflammation is a good thing for the body as long as it's controlled. So it's not that you don't want inflammation, you just want to control it. And I think we've been taught that we need to do the RICE method, which is rest, ice, compress, and elevate. RICE, RICE, right? And the compression part is what pushes the inflammation away from the damage. But I'm here to tell you, I'm here to educate you that inflammation is important. It's an innate response to injury. It's the first thing that happens once the body has identified something as an injury. And what it is the influx of white blood cells. These are the army of our body. These are the soldiers that come in when there's something wrong to fix things. And they come into that area and they start the repair process. But people don't like inflammation because it causes swelling. It hurts. You can't walk on it the same. You can't sit on the same. Touching it doesn't feel the same. So we want that immediate relief. So we go and we do compression. We do ice. We take an anti-inflammatory. But those are really your soldier. They're on your side. It was built in to happen the way it happened. So that's kind of how I'm trying to change people or wake people up or turn the light switch on. Your body knows what to do. Let it do it. Let it do it.
So you're saying one of the biggest pitfalls then is people trying to get immediate relaxation or relief. And you said the RICE method. So inflammatory situation that your body telling you something is wrong. Let it run its course, but you want to rest, ice, compress, and elevate.
That's the E in RICE.
Okay, I got you.
So most athletes, that's what they've been trained on. I'm talking about guys that I see that are in their 50s and 60s. They can tell me, oh, I did the RICE. Or even my younger guys in high school, my athletic trainer told me to RICE it. So, if you're trying to get back in the game immediately, yes. But you want to control it. But that inflammation is there to tell you something is wrong. So it's not something you want to ignore. It's not something that you want to stop. You just want to control it.
So a lot of athletes may be getting back into the game too early.
Definitely. They're not really recovering properly. They're pumped with steroids and anti-inflammatories and pain medication just to get them back out there because as athletes, you're worth what you can do. You're worth what you can do. So I'm trying to stop these younger ones, like the high school kids, and really get them educated to let them know that your high school is really interested in who you are right now. But Dr. Hill is interested in who you will be years from now. How your body will function years from now. How you will be able to perform years from now. I mean, we see them every Super Bowl. They bring in these guys. And they can't hardly walk. Their knees are bad, their backs are bad, their hands all malformed now. But that's because they looked at where they were then. Instead of a longevity.
But Dr. Hill, they're going to say, but Dr. Hill, I got to get those numbers up. I got to be looked at by the scouts.
That's true.
What do you tell them when they say that?
Come in and see us. Our goal is to keep you active while you heal properly. Let's underline properly. We want proper healing, and that's why I named the business Heal, like my last name, and then Heals, Heals. Because we're trying to heal you. And knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Okay. So it seems like to me, the biggest problem is people trying to rush things, not listening to their body, and really just masking, as you said, the pain. So RICE, not to be confused with the owls. Do the RICE method. Thank you for laughing. That was a really bad joke.
That was cute.
All right, so that's some good advice, I think, for athletes out there, high school, collegiate, and even recreational.
Weekend warriors.
Weekend warriors. So, question about back to you being an entrepreneur. I always laugh at that word because I think entrepreneur.
I know.
Like, this is very
Sounds
fancy,
so
very
serious.
pinkies up. Business owner, hustler, grinder. So we had the advice of going all in, what have you. I know people don't like to talk about these things because they're not sexy or cool or what have you, but what would you say, like, like accounting or taxes or stuff like that? What would be something that'd be like, don't sleep on this, figure this out?
Definitely my first year was a learning experience on my own, and seeing how much I owed to the IRS. So I quickly woke up. I use TurboTax. I have the app on my phone to keep all my receipts.
Right.
You definitely want to get with a tax professional that knows the tax laws in your state. Yeah. Somebody that's certified. I have a great accountant. She's an accountant and she's an attorney. Oh. So she knows the front end of processing the taxes. Right. Plus, as an attorney, she knows the back end. If I ever get audited or need any representation, she's there for me. So you want to pay people that have studied things that are important, and the IRS is really important.
I got you. So pay your taxes, figure that out. Get someone who knows exactly what they're doing, a CPA, so on and so forth. Okay, cool.
Definitely.
This is back to your craft. Okay. I've definitely gone to Dr. Hill. She's helped me out. She's decreased a lot of pain. I've had a lot of pain in my knees. She's helped with that. But every time, I swear, she has the wildest stretches. So you see people, she's wilding out with her stretches. So you see a lot of people running, they're doing the normal stretches. What would you say, let's say someone who's doing a lot of cardio, a lot of running, a lot of people in Houston like to go to Memorial. They love running. So what's a, not necessarily exercise, but what's a stretch that people are not given enough credit if they run that they should wake up on?
Roger, you are so right. I'm so big on stretching.
Yes.
And I do that because I normally see patients maybe 30 minutes to an hour a week. Yeah. And it's a lot of time in between that 30 minutes to an hour. So I give them something that they can take home as a tool. Yeah. If they start to feel the tightness again, if the pain comes, if they got a big event coming up that they can't cancel because they've already paid for, they're able to go into this toolbox of stretches to do. And I would say the biggest misconception, whether you run, lift weights, do kickboxing, whatever, is that they're not holding the stretch long enough.
Okay. Not holding it
strong. They're not holding it long enough. So it's a receptor inside of each muscle that has to be overridden. Okay. And the way we override that receptor is with time. Right. So if you stretch for 30 seconds, when I said 60, you're not overriding that receptor and you get the adverse effect of what a stretch should be. So instead of the muscle lengthening, it shortens.
So it's not so much the actual stretch, whereas the duration of the
just
stretch.
Just a little small things, knowing how long to hold it. The second thing I see is a lot of people are doing what they see other people do. Right. So they don't know how to properly stretch their hamstring.
I got you.
The hamstring has two heads, meaning it has two origins and one insertion. So people are just going to touch their toes, and that only addresses half of the muscle.
I got you. And I have to repeat that those stretches that you taught me, the one recently for the tricep.
Yeah.
Just breaking a sweat on a stretch is pretty aggressive.
He did, y'all. And it's just sticking your arm out on the wall and walking.
Yeah.
No cardio. And he sweat because he needs it.
I need it. I need that sweat. So I'm going to ask you one more question. I want you to tell a young Dr. Hill out there might be watching, who's looking at life, looking at our future, looking at a lot of potential adversity. What would you tell young Dr. Hill 2.0?
I would tell young Dr. Hill that everything that you believe is possible, whether it's negative or positive. So focus on the positive. Okay, so whatever you tell yourself daily, whatever you look in the mirror and see, that's what will be. So make sure it's positive.
Gratitude is latitude.
It is.
All right, Dr. Hill, well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me,
And thank you for this
Roger.
beautiful
I enjoyed
setup.
it. Thank you.
Tell them where they can find you. Social, everywhere.
Hill Hills Chiropractic and Rehabilitation. We have a website, hillhills.com. That's HILLHEALS. We're also on social media at Hill Hills. That's Facebook and Instagram. Our telephone number, which we're 24 hours, you can call or text that anytime, is 832-736-3099.
All right, well, thank you. And once again, I am Roger Dupre, and this is Texas Tea with Eastwood Energy Group, where we have local businesses, owners spill the tea on their come up. This is Dr. Brittany Hill of Hill Heals Chiropractic and Rehabilitation. Once again, thank you guys for coming on. Thank you, Dr. Hill.
Me.
And we will see you later.
All right.